Tales from Trudvang. Lemon Cakes and Hrimtursirs. For 3 weeks they had been trekking through the deep snows by the roots of the Yarngard Mountains. Hildi was used to this kind of cold, yet she tightened the grip around her fur coat and wrapped it closer to the body as the great white winds came roaring down from the hills. Storg and his brother Jormir were with her, and together they were heading back to their village after a long hunting trip. Their hunt had been successful, and they would return with many hides and slabs of meat that would help them wait out the coming winter. Their catch was tied down to a cart that Storg was dragging along. This was no ordinary cart with wheels. It was built to be dragged through the deep snows of the northern stonelands, and thus it looked more like an oversized snowshoe. Although they were close to home, they set up camp under the shadow of a great rock where they could rest their sore legs for a moment or two. Jormir was anxious to get on with the journey and did not want to stop, even though he felt his tender feet ache inside his clad fur boots. Hildi knew that Jormir would complain. He always complained about almost everything, and just for that reason she had prepared a treat for her companions to make the rest worthwhile, even for Jormir. Hildi sat down and rested her back against the great rock as she started to rattle her leather pouch in search for the surprise. "We have no time for this," Jormir lamented. Storg lit his pipe and joined Hildi by the rock. Come now, brother," he said. "We will soon be home. Besides, I think we have earned ourselves a moment to catch our breath after such a long hunt, and a successful one at that." Storg gestured towards the hides that laid frostbitten on the cart. Jormir gruffed and planted his axe in the snow. Hildi smiled as she felt her hands grab around the little woolen knit in which the surprise lay hidden. "Yes, I agree with Storg. I think you will join us when you see what I have brought with me." When Hildi pulled the woolen knit from her pouch, both Storg and Jormir lit up, for they knew what was packed within. "Lemon cakes," Jormir gushed, as Hildi revealed the golden brown tarts to the group. Jormir was the first to grab 3 cakes from Hildi's hand and quickly scuttled away to enjoy them in silence. After a moment, Jormir broke the silence. "Very well, I suppose this little stop was not a complete waste of time." Hildi smiled and let the sour filling of the tart softly stroke the inside of her throat as she reveled in every little bite. Just as Jormir had eaten the final cake and the group was about to prepare for the final stretch before they would arrive home, Storg stood up and quickly grabbed his axe. His gaze laid upon the mountains and his face was twisted in an expression of wonder and terror. "By Stormy, are you seeing this, Hildi?" Storg said in a low voice. Hildi looked up and grabbed her short sword. That was when she saw it. Down from the mountains it came, with huge icicles hanging from its great horns. Hildi did not know what the monstrous creature was, but Jormir swiftly informed her that it was in fact a Hrimtursir, a frost giant from the Great White. Soon the ground shook with every rumbling step that the giant took as it was making its way down from the icy peaks toward the valley where the troop had set up camp. Jormir and Storg quickly took down the camp and were getting ready to leave, whilst Hildi just stood there in awe of the giant. She was not afraid. Instead, she admired the Hrimtursir with awe as it moved along through the snowy landscape. Just then it occurred to Hildi that the giant seemed very old. It bore a great frostbitten beard, and as it walked along, it leaned its weight against a gargantuan walking stick. To call it a stick is perhaps not quite right, since it looked more like a great tree. Also, its bluish and frosty skin bore many scars and marks from many battles that Hildi imagined the Hrimtursir had lived through. The carried even more a great sword in its belt. Jormir readied his axe, as the giant was now only a couple of 100 meters away from them, but Storg hindered him. "No," he said. "We would not be victorious in such a battle, brother. Let it pass on by and soak in the moment. We might never see another one like it in our lifetime." Storg did as he was told, and once the giant creature had passed on by, the troop gathered their things and resumed their journey. Soon Storg, Jormir, and Hildi reached their village, where they could share their pelts and stories with the rest of the villagers. Hildi would often let her thoughts wander back to that day in the valley, by the foot of the Jarngad, and for many a year she would tell of that day to her children and grandchildren that would listen with gaping mouths. Many times hence the three friends have made the same journey from the Troll Mountains to their village in the far northern wildland. But in the end, Storg was right. Hildi never saw another Hrimtursir in her life. Tales from Trudvang. Lemon Cakes and Hrimtursirs.